you're about self as well. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? What do you tell them?
Don't do it.
Don't listen to him.
Hey guys, welcome back to Entrepreneurs Talking Tea. First of all, Happy New Year's. I'm joined with two very interesting characters, great entrepreneurs, and we're going to hear a little bit about their story in a minute. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and click the join now button for more content in regards to what we're doing and about the markets and all the rest of it. So instead of me going on and talking so much, I'm going to just get these guys to introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about themselves and what they're doing and what they've been up to. So who wants to go first?
Mr. Briers.
Looks like it's me then. So I'm James Briers, one of the founding directors of IDS. I'm not a salesman. I've come from a background of delivering technology and implementing testing solutions. I've been in this industry 19 years now. I don't know how you can make testing sound exciting on the screen, but I'll do my best.
Okay, awesome.
I'm Alasdair.
Yeah.
Second part of the duo. Not technical, and I'm more about the kind of building the operation, giving a good foundation, and trying to build a future, as we both do, for the business.
Tea or coffee?
I'm definitely a tea man.
He's not
with a little
coffee.
sprinkle of champagne.
Yeah, tea and champagne. So how did you guys, how did you meet, or should I say when did you meet, and how did that come about?
I'll let you tell this version.
In the most honest way.
Yeah, so it was basically meeting our minds in a pub, as every good story begins. It was basically a mutual friend. I think we'd known of each other, previous to it, but it was a mutual contact. Made an introduction based on conversations that I'd had about wanting to do something like this. He mentioned that Alasdair was also of the same kind of mind, so we just arranged to meet up in a pub. Al was less impressed with the selection of pub. It wasn't quite posh enough and didn't serve champagne, and we'd had a mug of tea.
You gotta go back to that.
I think you had a pint and I had
It was
very poor Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, but anyway, we had an initial conversation, decided, we've got something here we both want to build on. And then we had a second meet-up, which was in a much nicer place that, served nice food, and that's where it all began, basically. And we set our stall up from there, made some next steps, set the business up, and just basically ripped the plaster off and got cracking.
And did you, were you both self-employed then, or were you working for other companies, or how's it?
Yeah, so I was contracting at the time, so I was a sole contractor, consulting off my own back. So let's say I was a practitioner,
so
working
kind of
for other organisations, but as a self-employed entity.
And I had a business doing recruitment at the time, which blended quite well with consultancy.
Yeah.
So I was used to dealing with contractors. Yeah. So I had a recruitment business beforehand.
Okay, and is that still ongoing? Sold? Got rid of? Or?
We merged it into what we do now. So it's one of the strings of what the business does. So we have the testing side of the business, which is what it says on the tin. Then we have the recruitment side, which supports clients with contractor, perm, and consultancy-based work if it needs it. And then we have a delivery arm which actually builds products for ourselves and for clients.
So for those that don't know, what exactly is testing and why is it important to businesses?
Okay, so
it's definitely you.
Again, this is where I'm going to struggle to make it exciting, but in a nutshell, if an organisation such as a bank or insurance organisation, a legal firm, make any kind of change to any internal operating software or any public facing software, there's always a risk that change will cause problems if it's not quality assured. We'll help organisations ensure that they have the right systems, processes, tooling, whatever, to make that process as efficient as possible. Historically, organisations have thrown lots of people at that, but we do things a bit different. We use technology to reduce the need to have an army full of testers. We make it more efficient, more cost effective.
Okay. So for the basic person out there, you're making business processes more efficient.
Yeah, in a nutshell, we're contributing to that and making sure that the quality is baked into the product.
And is that kind of, like you're saying on changes, there's some errors or flaws that are found in the system?
They could have a fundamental problem with the software that they're using, and their end users or the customers are out, constantly raising issues.
Yeah.
And they'll want to make that change and make it better for the customers or end user. And we work with that team to ensure what they produce works.
I suppose it's quite interesting because, obviously, as technology is going super, super, super advanced, does that mean that your tools and everything has to constantly stay? Or not?
Technology.
Absolutely, and that's where testing has changed from what it used to be. It used to be very, very structured, and you'd have a test analyst basically following a predefined script.
Yeah.
And that was when applications were quite linear.
Yeah.
If you want to use that as a term. But now you can have applications that are linked to your mobile phone, linked to a tablet, a PC. It could be a cash machine or whatever. But the thought process is a lot different now.
Yeah.
You have to think of the environment that you're in as well.
Yeah.
You could be walking down the road and it could be in the middle of a banking transaction. Your 3G or your 4G.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is, Sam? You struggle with.
I'm literally in a dead zone at the moment. Yeah. I should be back online today. So
in that scenario, the 3G connection could drop mid-transaction. What actually happens to that transaction, and we'll test for that scenario and make sure that the application handles that right.
Yeah.
And there's not a lost transaction and the customer's left.
Yeah.
Use yield hour is a good example as well, couldn't you? With users logging onto the system, if there's too many users logging onto the system, the performance weakens. So you can do performance testing as well. So that's another side. Ooh, technical.
Yeah, look, you go. You have got it in you.
Too much listening to him.
So I suppose it's not going anywhere, is it? Because you've got the different areas of. In one of the previous Ultra Nerds talking to, he was talking to a guy called Richard that works in accounting, for example, and it's changing more kind of in the industry to more kind of specialist as software comes in and takes that job away really from accounting. They say I think it's 2025 or something like that. Basic accountancy work is gone. You've got all these new systems
like 1.0 and
QuickBook or something like that, isn't it? QuickBooks or something like that. They get rid of it and do it all automatically. So. Would you say that the future of testing and that kind of side of things is that going more specialist, or is it just becoming more open? I suppose because of the tech that's coming out there.
I think there is a real drive now for more specialist focused testing, and ourselves we are kind of shaping a product which lends itself to that. We've designed a tool. It's called iData. And that basically sits in an arena where organisations are lifting and shifting data from one platform to another.
Yeah.
Again, historically, organisations would throw lots of people at that.
Yeah.
And the cost would just be through the roof, just for the testing elements of it. So we've got a product which assures the transformation of that data between the two systems.
Okay.
So we're validating that data that's been taken from the historic system, the legacy system, is actually in the right set, format, whatever, for it to be actually functional within the new system.
That's cool.
So for example, historically you probably only test 2% of the records, but with our solution we can actually give you 100% coverage of all the data that's been lifted and shifted.
So you're doing a lot of people out of their jobs then?
No, Sam. That's not what's going on.
It's making it more efficient, isn't it?
It's making it more efficient, and we're actually reducing the risk that's put on those people. There's still an element of testing that needs to be done on the front end from a user acceptance perspective. But
more exciting testing.
We're basically saying, look, that data in there, you've got that assurance, that comfort factor that it's right. Make sure it now functions within the application, and that's where the manual guys take over.
Does it do the actual kind of, because I did a little bit of that when I was working in the banking, does it do, because my background's actually in testing as well, yeah. Does it do the migration of the data, or does it
Not
just...
yet.
Okay, fine.
Just ensure or assures the migration has worked.
Yeah,
so we've got a nice development timeline for it, and that's one of the things that's on the horizon.
Yeah. Because that's massive, isn't it? Especially in banking, like... won't name them, but for example, there's a lot of paper and there's a lot of trails, and so they're doing a lot of data migration from their papers to online systems like SharePoint, things like that, moving it all online, and the process of where everything goes is so lengthy that it's very easy to make small mistakes here and there on the data. So I suppose it fixes that kind of solution.
Yeah, well, that's I think step 2 or 3.
Step 2 or 3
on the timeline that we have.
Yeah,
it's quite an interesting journey that we've got planned for it.
Yeah.
I think we'll disclose more on the next team meeting.
Yeah. Long term, we're hoping it could be a point where it's a validator that a new implementation has worked.
Yeah.
So if you're implementing, just I don't know, a new accounting system into your client side, you could use iData as confirmation it's actually worked and connected to your own systems by saying, look, this data has been pulled across and it's working, and iData validates that we've completed our contract with said company.
Yeah.
So there's all those.
So we can work with two parties, basically.
Yeah.
Both sides
to
of
prove
the
the contract is valid.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So I suppose everyone's probably wondering how did you get into this side of the industry? Because it's obviously you don't really meet too many people that go into the testing side that you've got some reasonably sized clients that you're working with. I don't know if we can name any of them or not, but reasonably sized that how do you even get into that? So obviously testing, did you just start off at the kind of bottom, testing in a business or work with someone else, and then eventually moved on to contracting? I mean,
absolutely, exactly that. I used to work in second, third line support, so like server kind of engineering, that kind of thing. The company I worked for went bust, and I knew a guy, and he gave me a start. I ended up working down at Microsoft at Thames Valley Park.
Okay.
For a third party, not directly for Microsoft. So that's where it started for myself. I learnt the ropes there with some really smart people at Microsoft.
Yeah.
Seeing how it should be done.
Yeah.
And then I went out into the world as a contractor, and again started to learn how people were doing it very wrong.
Yeah.
So I kind of cut my teeth that way, and had many battles of highlighting where I could see issues. I had my way of thinking and working.
Yeah.
And that's one of the real drivers for me wanting to set up something on my own, because I have my own thoughts and beliefs that there are better ways or smarter ways or more efficient ways, whichever way you want to skin that. Than the more traditional kind of institutionalized ways of working.
It's quite behind in some industries and their thought processes.
Yeah.
The change aspect is quite a big thing that's holding them back. Do you think that, I think a lot of guys that are becoming entrepreneurs or wanting to become entrepreneurs, do you think that because you went the route of contracting, you kind of already took that risk, because you kind of put yourself out and going, I don't know if I'm going to secure a contract, or I don't know, is that a risk, would you say?
I think it's
it is completely different. Having been there, but it is a step towards then going from having that guaranteed day rate,
exactly,
to actually setting something up where your day rate, isn't there, and you're relying on delivering a service. I felt a real big pinch on that, which was good, because it really gave me that drive to make it work. I was exposed. It was like, I've got one foot over the edge here, I've got to make this work. So taking that step was the right thing. It was very, very scary, but that's what makes your heart beat at the end of the day.
I suppose we were quite lucky in the sense of that we had some mentors help us, especially at the beginning. Educators who'd already set up businesses like ours. So I've got to mention Matt Robson from TSG,
Yeah.
Peter Dickinson from Agile Coach.
Yeah.
These are two people who helped us ensure that we had a good foundation from the beginning.
Okay.
Rather than some companies that do fantastically well and they go really quickly, but then
Yeah.
they don't have the supply chain to supply the demand of what they need.
Yeah.
And those two were very, very influential in how we wanted to set our stall out, as it were. And one of the best bits of advice they ever gave us was think big from the beginning.
Okay.
And set yourself up as if you're a big company from the start,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you can grow around that foundation.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting for us because we didn't feel like we were on our own. We had each other, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was one of the things that driven out of that was the fact that we systemised everything from pretty much day one. There was the automation of the back office and the timesheets systems and all that, and the invoicing system.
Yeah.
It put us into a position where we could scale up to 150 consultants
Yeah.
without too much of an increase of
Yeah,
back
yeah.
office support.
So would you say that's we try to get like 5 tips out of the entrepreneurs of advice that the audience can take away and apply to themselves if they want to go down that route of being an entrepreneur? Would you say that first one is probably mentorship then of what you had, as having someone that's kind of there to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say tip 1, have a good mentor. 2, definitely set yourself up the right way. I know that sounds really daft, but you can get it so wrong at the beginning. Ensure that those systems are in place and you have a good team of people around you.
Yeah.
You're not good at everything.
Yeah,
you do
yeah.
have weaknesses. We have a great accountancy team which we outsource. Don't be afraid to outsource.
Yeah.
Outsource testing. Don't be afraid but don't be afraid to outsource, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm giving away that control, that power.
Yeah.
But for us, the best thing we did was we outsourced HR to a company called Peninsula, and we outsourced our accountancy to a company called Leon Company, and it took that pain away.
100%.
That we
I think
need.
so. Number 2 would basically be like build your business ready for scale. Then basically, because you see it, well, especially in what's going on in the crypto space, exchanges they're going down because they weren't built to have this many users. They weren't built for this.
Not being tested properly.
They're not being tested properly. They're open to cyber hacks. Yeah, I suppose that's another area. Is cyber hacks probably a big area for a reason why companies get tested? Is it like they usually they don't see the value in testing first, and then they see a breach in their software, and then they go, right, we need to get to the bottom of this and get everything safe afterwards?
So I mean,
usually working with
cybersecurity testing's been around for a long time, but it's always been one of those kind of dark arts, that no one really knew what was going on and how to do it.
Yeah.
There was just this guy, sitting in the corner of a room, hacking away and telling you that, I put these notes on your file system and you're gonna give me this much money, or I'm gonna expose you. And that would have probably last. Somebody may shoot me down over this, but probably 5 or 6 years. That's then turned into something which is more professional kind of career choice for people.
Yeah.
And it is becoming more and more common. It's something that we do.
Yeah.
We have specialists in that arena. I wouldn't know where to start, to be honest with you.
Specialists in that arena of
it's
the
not
dark arts.
Yeah, we have a division that look after it. But it's
We are friends, right?
absolutely. So we know everything we do.
Yeah. So in simple terms, in Harry Potter world, they're Slytherin.
They're slithering all over.
Yeah, they work with Professor Snape.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
There's a little room somewhere.
You help companies basically defend against cyber attacks and things like that?
Not defend against.
So we'll highlight where the weaknesses are.
Okay.
And then we'll give them a list of recommendations so that the development team can make those changes and make them more secure.
Yeah. So I suppose that's on the increase then, because
it should be.
It is.
Yeah.
There are more organisations open to it. Those conversations with companies that want it are quite interesting, because it's quite often a case where they realise, wow, we may be exposed there. Can you tell us where? So those conversations, I wouldn't say easy, but they're a lot more straightforward.
Yeah. Are you seeing your business world move into the crypto area? Because there's obviously a lot of new tech there that needs testing, needs safe proofing.
So it's more the technology around crypto, it's more like blockchain technologies that are, we can't mention who, but a leading regulator is looking at going to the blockchain space next year. We are having talks and discussions with organisations in Malta, which is quite a big hub for the cryptocurrency arena. It's difficult, isn't it, with blockchain, because you've got to get it right at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Once that data's in there, it can't really be changed. It's a lot of fix first.
Is that you on about the contract there, for example, or the actual?
The contract, but the actual system itself as well. With the technology around it, you've got to make sure whatever data goes in there from the beginning is the right data.
Yeah.
So if you get that wrong, you can't change it, can you?
Yeah. Okay. Is that something that's an issue, do you think?
I think going forward, blockchain could be an issue.
Well, it'll mature. Like everything
mature.
from a technical point of view, it will mature and improve. I guess it's in its infancy.
Yeah.
It's like anything, so there'll be learning curves that will just naturally take place in that domain.
It's finding its place in the industry, isn't it? It's not suitable for everything in the industry, but I think it's suitable for some
I think it's all a big buzzword at the moment, the whole blockchain. Businesses want to incorporate blockchain. They actually don't need to incorporate blockchain at all, but it's getting that attention for, we're open to new ideas, we're open to the new tech, and they don't want to miss the bandwagon, but at the same time they're probably exposing themselves to all these risks that they're not aware of on areas like that, so obviously we've got these businesses that are now adopting cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and they're building off these new projects, new ideas, because more of the PR around them and stuff like that, I suppose it's not going to be now, it's going to be like in a year, 2 years down the line, when that then comes to you guys to then say, help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. And that's not unusual with anything that's not blockchain as well. There's always that kind of position that organisations get themselves in, that we don't need to test anything. It's fine. Developers are really good, which no doubt they are.
Yeah.
But we're all only human.
Exactly.
We all make
need another set of eyes, really.
And no one's vulnerable or not invincible to these problems.
Exactly.
A bank just recently that was in the press failed quite a few times with payments, and clients can get into their accounts.
Yeah.
It's because they hadn't tested the system properly enough.
Yeah, you're not talking about Revolut, are you?
No, I think you're talking about Lloyd's actually.
Oh, not them again. They keep cropping up a bit, don't they? They need their systems. One of our traders used to work at Lloyd's, and they're both Lloyd's and Halifax, even though it's same business, they're completely different systems that don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So it's awful. It's an awful setup. The amount of funding that they've got just needs to be sorted. It's like, even if it took a year or 2 years, just needs to get sorted.
It needs to be updated. I mean, most banks haven't changed the system for 10 years.
I think that system, since we're talking about banks at the moment, you've got the likes of Monzo and stuff like that are coming out, and they're opening like something silly like 2,000 customers a day.
Yeah. They're
outstripping growth of traditional banks, and that's all just due to the fact that these guys aren't willing to keep up with the new tech and the future. And it's like, they recently did a round of crowdsource funding at Monzo. I think it was 20 or 25 million? 20 million, and they did it in 2 hours 45 minutes.
Wow.
It's mad, isn't
Boom, just like that, 20 million, all set up. They've got no offices, so they've got no overheads on that. They've just got their staff in, 20 million, and then all of a sudden, about a month later, they announced, now we're looking at doing lending, loans. No wonder! You've got a nice healthy balance there. Yeah, you've got no borrowing costs now because you've just done that. So, I mean, there's the new way of thinking, and all of that kind of concepts it's literally outstripping them, and there's massive risk for them, isn't it?
But wasn't it Sterling Bank recently did something similar? They used a company called TransferWise in Budapest. They paid TransferWise a fortune to develop technology for them.
Right.
Oh, really?
And then they fell out of bed. and they've now gone a different direction because they want to go down a more modern tech, where I think TransferWise are using an old legacy way.
Yeah, and that's basically the problem, is because of the age of some of these systems in the banks. They've built the foundation, the backbone on legacy systems, and it's kind of ingrained in their DNA now. So to change that, it's a massive task.
A bit like the Titanic going towards an iceberg.
Well, that's it. Well, then what?
It is. It's a big thing to change, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what they try and do is just stick some new technology into that, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah, they try and plug it into like an old.
That's where the problems kind of manifest.
So we've got 2 tips so far. We've got the mentor set up, so we can set up for scale, basically. So you're ready to. I mean, surely these businesses thought they were
afraid to outsource.
Don't be afraid.
Number 3.
Oh,
Don't
right,
be afraid to outsource.
Don't forget to outsource.
Especially testing.
Yeah, especially testing. So
and financial advice.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to go down that route of testing, then it's don't be afraid to outsource it. I mean, we did that with we make algorithms, and we decided there's no point us writing 1,000 lines of code. We may as well just go, this is what we want to have done, these are the inputs, these are the outputs, go get a coder, code it up, get it done. They can do all of that, we'll do the testing side of things on it. As long as it does what it's supposed to do, on the tin, off we go kind of thing. So it skips out of that kind of, it's where you're offsetting your workload, aren't you? So you can focus on more important things.
On what you do best.
Yeah, exactly. So don't be afraid to outsource. That's probably the first time that tip's come up. So that's the first, I think. I think the scale one, I don't know if that's come up either, has it? Scale. Don't be afraid to set up your business kind of to ready for scale. Do you not think then that these businesses that are out there have thought that they set up for scale? Do you think they go at this time, like 1970 or whatever, we're ready for scale, or do you think things have just changed too quickly for them to?
I think what happens generally is, I'm not saying every startup. I mean, we're still learning every single day. We still make mistakes constantly.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of small businesses set up and they are owner operators.
Yeah.
And it's about making money then, so you're putting food on the table and you're busy being busy.
Yeah.
And I think they then start getting to a point where they bring in a couple of guys to work with them, and they think they can start taking the foot off, but then those guys aren't ready to take over, and it becomes difficult because you get absorbed into the business.
Yep.
And I think because we got ourselves set up from the back office side quite quickly, we could focus on driving the business forward.
Yeah.
And once we got to a certain level of our team size was at a certain stage, I could also take a different role within the business. So I had me and Alasdair driving the business forward, and we were quite fortunate to get to that position quite quickly. And it was a desired position.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that happened by accident. We basically set it out as that was one of our goals, basically.
Yeah, you kind of have to get to that point. So obviously your background is testing. Do you spend your time testing now, or do you spend most of your time driving the business? See, that's the thing, is my background's trading, and I spend most of my time doing interviews or driving the front of the branding of the business and what's going on with it. Obviously I still trade, but it's hard to kind of keep my head in that as well as driving the overall business.
Yeah, so I mean we're kind of in a position now where we are, I said, the driving force behind the business, but we're looking at ways that we can productise what we do, as opposed to just being like any other testing consultancy out there. We're looking at how we can make ourselves differentiate from our competition.
Almost the evolution of what we are now.
And is it a tough competition in that area, or?
It is.
It's very tough.
It's tough. There are a few good players in the market. And we stood toe to toe with a number of them. On tenders and things like that. We've come out on top.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've not. That's just the nature of the game. But it is about looking at what you can do better. And I think that's where we're succeeding, is because we don't sit in front of a customer and give them a prescribed kind of solution. We have a framework approach to everything we do, But that just makes sure we ask the right questions at the right time, do the right things, got templates and things like that. But the solution is always different, and it's always bespoke to what the customer actually needs, as opposed to, you know, something.
And out the box kind of package. We'll do this, and this, and if it falls out of categories, we don't cover that.
It's understanding. I think the biggest differentiator is, or we like to think one of our biggest differentiators, we want to know our customers.
Yeah.
And we get to know them better and better. Yeah. And that's how we can deliver a better service to them, by understanding what their actual needs are.
Yeah. I think there could be a tip in there as well.
So that's
PG tips. So Kappa tea.
It's something we've learned. I mean, it's not revolutionary, groundbreaking kind of tip, but you know, we always do our best to look after existing customers. Yeah. As opposed to chasing new.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, who? No.
BT.
Yeah, we threw. Alasdair threw that one in, not me. Yeah.
I mean, it's just something that we've had positive feedback about our customer service as such, but how we continually interact with existing customers.
Yeah, and really like retention again.
Yeah.
And that's something that pops up quite a lot is you look after the customer, they have a good experience, they're going to come back, aren't they? They're not going to go look for another one or another competitor or something. They're just going to be like, well, these guys did a great job last time, let's go straight back in.
Well, we don't always get it right. Well, but we ask the customer, how can we make this better? You know, if we ever do something that's not quite right, that's the question that we ask, and again that builds a little bit of trust in us from the customer's point of view. You know, these guys want to improve.
I suppose talking of trust, tip number 5 would definitely be, you've got to trust your own employees and delegate them to do some of the needs that you would normally do. Rather than being afraid to. I think that's been a big lesson for us, especially in the last 6 months. We've been very closed. It's like, no, we will do this, we will do this, and it's kind of stopped us from growing. Where now we've got certain individuals in our business who we entrust with our usual day-to-day activities, and it means we've got more time, which you can't buy more of. It's one thing no one can buy is time, which has helped us do more driving, as James said earlier, development of ourselves and therefore of the business at the same time. So it's that whole trust, I suppose, is tip number 5, isn't it?
Trust them.
You got through your tips quick. So tip number 5 is trust. Trust your employees.
We've got loads of tips if you want them, baby.
We could take bonus. We could take bonus tips. We'll take all the tips that we can get. I think that. It's an interesting topic, isn't it? I mean, so outside of this business, do you do anything else? Is there any other, rather than you've gone from contracting, you've gone from your other backgrounds of businesses, and then you've gone and joined and built this business. Do you do anything else? Do you make? Do you do other investments? Do you, are you involved in anything like that? Or
we do. One of them we can't really talk about, but it's within the automotive industry.
Okay.
Which is all around the Formula 1 arena.
Okay.
We can't talk too much about that at the moment, but maybe at our next PG Tips moments we can do that.
Yep.
And we also look at other ways of investing our business capital in areas such as cryptocurrency market.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough to deal with serial code trading in that respect. But we also are looking to work with opportunities either in commercial or private property area.
Okay.
Residential property is probably a better bet. We realise that we can invest in other areas that might produce more profit margins for ourselves.
I suppose that's an interesting one to talk about on the property space. Let's just pause. How much time have we got roughly left, Chaz? I don't want to run over. 10 minutes, fine. So obviously investing in property and all the rest of it is there certain areas that you're looking at, or is it just more of like whatever opportunities arise is what we're looking at in those areas?
I mean, I've had a few properties personally for a number of years now, but we're looking at how we can be a bit more smart with like say a commercial property, and maybe get office space that we can use as a company, and then maybe sublet back to other organisations, and almost maybe like set up some kind of incubator kind of shared collaborative space. You know, that we can bring other organisations into, who, startups, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of like how synergies between businesses are built as well. Seeing how they, develop between you, and if they're next to you, you kind of get more of what they're going on. It's good for marketing as well if you have all the startups in that kind of one place. So I suppose the one question that we haven't covered is either your business or the property side or investments. Are you scared of Brexit? Are you worried about Brexit? How are you? Is there any thoughts? Because it's quite interesting to get entrepreneurs' opinions on how they foresee their business or the risk in it, obviously, to your business. Or
I think the main thing is everybody just needs to work together on it. We decided, rightly or wrongly, let's do Brexit.
Yeah.
I think it could have been handled better by the UK government.
Yeah.
But they've done what they have done, and we've got to support them by it. I think it creates opportunity, absolutely, for us, especially as a business. Testing is change.
Yeah.
Systems have to be changed, processes will have to be changed.
I suppose that is actually the truth, isn't it? Because when Brexit goes ahead, I suppose systems will have to be changed, won't they?
Absolutely. Systems and process courses change as well.
Yeah.
You might find that data's having to be moved as well, because if some of it goes into Europe or we get it from Europe, vice versa, there's migrations there.
Yeah.
And again, iData would be a good tool to use for that. But no, in all seriousness, I think Brexit does create opportunities.
Yeah.
But it also causes problems.
Yeah.
But it's how you solve those problems, or how you approach those problems.
In your case, then it's probably actually the change is going to be not a risk, really. It's more of an opportunity. Because people are going to have to start looking at that side of change, I suppose.
Absolutely. I think just either way there's positive, because I think companies have been holding back on what they've been doing, waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. So
I think there will be a backlog of work that this country needs to get done, because everybody's going, what if?
Yeah.
How can we cope with this? I do think it is good. For other people, it's what you make of a situation, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you sit back and worry about it, you are going to have an issue.
Yeah.
If you look for a way through it, and like James and I were saying and yourself were saying earlier, if you've got good support mechanism and a good framework behind you, you should be able to ride out the storm.
Yeah.
If we do hit a recession, keep your cash in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And that creates opportunity in the future to buy things at a better price.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think that's something that follows through on quite a lot of the talks, especially with John. John and Rob moved to setting up their new space just as the recession hit, and again it was just like dig in deep and get on with it. You're in your own environment, you've got to make it work no matter what anyway, so stop saying what if, what, why and all the rest of it. So that's interesting. I suppose on the property side, I suppose if you're commercial, it's not really an opportunity, it's not really too much of a risk, I suppose, because you're still going to have startups off the back of it and all the rest of it.
I think with the property side, I think we might get to stalemate, mightn't we? I think prices might drop a little, but they will come back. It's a natural, hopefully it's a natural churn. It's supply and demand, and obviously with all the houses being built at the moment, there's not enough supply.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a huge demand for it. I think the same with commercial space. You see successful companies like Allied Group in the commercial space that are doing well, and it just creates growth, I think.
Yeah. I think there's definitely opportunities.
I do a lot of thinking, because I think 20 times.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, do you guys have any final words for tips or something that you would like to say? So you've got a guy sat on the, or let's say yourselves, 16 to 18-year-old self, and you're about to set off into the world. You want to be an entrepreneur. What do you tell them?
Don't do it.
Don't listen to him. I don't know. Back yourself.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Back yourself.
I mean, some people I know have like procrastinated and missed opportunities. I did it for a long time, and since
listening to me.
Excuse me. Since going from being a contractor and just taking that step, I've not looked back.
Yeah.
So I just say do it. Back yourself, believe in yourself, focus on where you want to be, and go for it.
Did you have a B plan if it went wrong?
No.
No.
Put
everything in.
Roll the dice.
Finances, everything, mortgage the house, the works.
That's not great advice there. Remortgage
I
the
didn't.
house.
No mortgage the house.
Oh, okay.
If my wife sees this, we didn't, by the way.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay. And so, is there anything that you would have changed? Maybe. Would you done anything different, or would you say that the right lessons and the right things all just panned out?
I think sometimes when we've gone through certain things, whilst you're in it, you naturally think, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that, or I wish it. But once you've gone through it, you realise actually it was still the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, when you're feeling the pain, it's natural human like reaction to go. Oh, this.
Without mistakes, you don't learn anything new.
Exactly.
So I think definitely.
So no, I wouldn't change.
No, I wouldn't change. I've got no regrets.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's like the whole fall forward hurdle mentality. If you fall over, you just get up and just learn from it, carry on moving forward. And that's that. What do you think that the number one reason why businesses fail in, say, the first couple of years? A lot of them fail. Is there anything that you would say that in your first couple of years of going off solo that you saw could have been a major fail for you, but you got past it?
I think fear sometimes can immobilise you.
Yeah.
And you're always going to get yourself in those positions where you're thinking, right, if this doesn't come right, then we're screwed.
Yeah.
And it's what you do in those situations that makes a difference. I think keeping yourself focused and positive is. It's easy to say, but actually doing it is completely different.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you. The only thing I might say is maybe people try and do too much.
Yeah.
Try and accomplish too much, set too far a goals, or even just literally try and do everything in the business, which they can't do.
That's another reason as well.
Spread too thin.
Yeah.
Realise that you're not an expert in everything.
Yeah.
If you're an electrician, then you're not going to understand how to do the books.
Yeah, exactly. So just know where your strong points are and basically outsource the points that you're not good at to the right people.
Do what you're good
Save
at.
yourself time. Yeah.
Do what you're good at.
I suppose that should be the finisher. Do what you're good at, or in the whole business side of things. So if these business owners, guys out there, needed help testing and stuff like that, where do they go to get hold of you?
Our website.
Yeah.
www.intelligent-D
for David. .co.uk.
We'll make life easier. We'll put it in the description below. And we'll put a nice pop-up for it. Here you go. You can go to this lovely... And you put lights here. We'll put it in the description below. So guys, if you need help on testing, or you want to make sure that your procedures and everything that's in place is as efficient as possible, and performance tests and all the rest of it, then these are the right guys to get some help from. Thanks for joining us on Alasdair Talking Tea. I hope these guys can take away some good points in helping them with their business, and also understanding the value, I suppose, of quite a lot actually, of testing, efficiency, all the different tips that you've had, and also how Brexit is potentially an opportunity and not as dull as the media are making it out to be, and all the rest of it. So thanks for joining us, guys. For those that are watching, don't forget to comment your opinions, thumbs up, and click the subscribe button for more awesome content, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Ciao.